This Calgary Flames prospect update has the Sea of Red hyped as new rankings have come out that show just how good our prospect pool is. With specific players the Flames care a lot about being assessed, all looks promising. Plus, certain young guns are ready to take their development to the next level. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and let's hop into the rankings to get us started. This summer's a beautiful time to talk about the prospects. Obviously, the prime time in summer is those trade rumors, free agency rumors, and whatnot, but it's a really good time to take a deep look into the prospect pool as well. Kind of assess what's going on there because, during the NHL season, you're kind of focused on the NHL mostly. But we have wonderful news as the Flames are actually ranked 10th in the Daily Faceoff's prospect pool ranking, their newest one. And a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, that's actually kind of low. It's top 10. We'll take it, and we'll explain why in a second here. We have a wonderful article from Mr. Ryan Pike here, the main man himself. All credit due to him for the article that we'll take a look at in the first bit of this video. But top 10, awesome already. A team that almost made the playoffs, literally had 96 points last year, has the 10th best prospect pool, and could arguably be a little bit higher. It's fantastic news already. I already know people are hyped, but let's get in. The summertime means that for a lot of websites, it's prospects season. Not just websites, so many fans care about the prospects more. Analysts, whoever else, radio shows, everything, it's prospect season. So while Flames Nation is actually in the midst of their annual summer prospect rankings, over at Daily Faceoff, their colleague Stephen Ellis has been digging into the prospect bases of all 32 NHL clubs. With his tour around the league done, Ellis has concluded his summer marathon of writing with his annual ranking of the NHL prospect bases. This year, he has the Flames prospect pool ranked at 10th in the league, up from 15th in 2024. So we went from kind of, a mid prospect pool to a top 10 one. And the 2024 draft was just absolutely excellent. It, knock on wood, fingers crossed, goes down as one of the best in Flames history. But this 2025 draft as well, back in June, was really good as well. And, if things pan out as you always want them to, it could also go down as one of the best drafts in Flames history. Obviously, a lot of people are a little bit delusional in that way. I like to call it that we're optimistic. You gotta buy into the hype and just hype these guys up, and hopefully that helps them become better. But either way, just absolutely excellent, top 10. So here's what Ellis had to say about the Flames in his ranking. So they clocked in obviously at number 10. So he said, the Flames might not have much going for them in the NHL. Harsh. Honestly, harsh, but whatever. But there are some nice pieces coming along throughout the deep pipeline. There's a high likelihood that defenseman Zane Parekh will be in the NHL to start the season, with many believing he'll stick around for the majority of the year. He obviously looks excellent. The Flames have a ton of depth at center now, using their two recent first-rounders to bet on middlemen with skills to burn. Cole Reshny is one of the best playmakers outside of the NHL today, while Cullen Potter didn't let a smaller frame, I just love the Flames too much. He didn't let a smaller frame slow him down in college. It's a good pull, even after promoting Dustin Wolf and Matt Coronato to the show. So no longer are Wolfie and Coronato prospects, but they were in last year's ranking, and those guys obviously everyday NHLers now, and they were still prospects when the Flames were at 15th. So that just shows how much better it has gotten, which is totally epic. Now, Conroy and his scouting staff have made 24 draft choices over his 3 drafts as GM, including 13 picks in the first 3 rounds and 5 picks in the first round itself. Sammy Honzek in 2023, both Parekh and Gradin in 2024, and Reshny and Potter in 2025, as we just saw. That's an excellent little pool right there. The Flames had a ton of depth in their prospect pool right now, depth that wasn't there before Conroy's hiring as GM. That said, with the graduations of Wolf and Coronato to full-time NHLer status, the organization arguably lacks a true ace prospect aside from Zane Parekh. Time will tell if anyone from their deep prospect pool emerges as an ace over the next couple seasons, or if the Flames will need to rely on a committee of very good prospects to move their retooling process forward. And it's not a bad place to be. Yes, we would love your generational A1 prospect like a Gavin McKenna coming next year, or even like a Landon Dupont coming in the year after. But it's not a bad place to be. There's so many good prospects that at least one of them, has to be gold. So it's a great place to be. There's so much promise, and it keeps the fan base hopeful, which they need, and obviously optimistic and positive, which is very needed as well for however many mushy middle years the Flames have obviously had. And it doesn't finish there, as we'll go into some specifics, take a look at some specific prospects here. And a great tweet was actually tweeted out pretty much on the same day that this article came out, but it was from @BlastyProspects, so Flames Prospects. They tweeted out, what expectations do y'all have for the following players this year? And named 4 of, I guess, top prospects, and obviously Wolf is in there too. But 1, Zane Parekh, 2, Dustin Wolf, 3, Sam Honzek, and 4, Andrew Basha. So, kind of our best prospect, a guy who was our best prospect and now is the best goalie we've had since Kipper. Sammy Honzek, who should be really good. And then Basha, who's an interesting one. Is he going to fit in? What's going on here? So a lot of people replied to this. We'll take a look at some of the expectations that the fan base set. Here we go. So let's start with Jason. He said, Parekh, start the season in the big leagues and stick around, playing in a reduced capacity, so 60 to 70% of games, if he's not ready physically. Totally fair. That sounds very reasonable to me. Wolf, some regression. Interesting. Team still stinks and opponents have tape on him. So interesting there. For Hanzo, push for an NHL spot. If not, top 6 AHL. Very reasonable again. And then Basha, solid AHL season. I think this is honestly very realistic expectations for all of them. You can't expect Wolf to be as good as he was last year. Parekh, you can't expect him to be Cale Makar right away. Hanzo, NHL or AHL, either bottom NHL, top AHL, and then Basha, hopefully just a solid AHL season. Flames Prospects actually, they replied to this saying, don't see many people taking into consideration the potential for Wolf to regress this year. I agree. And it's just because of the decor and the team in front of him. It's not because of him personally. And honestly, I don't think the tape helps that much either, because he can make saves in all ways, of course, despite the size. Matthew said, Parekh, 20 to 35 points as a second D-man. Reasonable. Wolf, Vezina consideration / winner. Bold, but I love it. Honzek, 15 to 25 points. Depends how much he plays. And Basha, AHL All-Star. So Matthew here, very, I guess, bold, but again, optimistic, hoping for the best for all of them. Spencer says, Leo Carlson treatment for Zane. So alternating between top 4 minutes or watching from the press box, learning the NHL game, that he can get burned in the D zone, get seriously outchecked, but still pot like 40 points in 60 games. He'll improve at a scary rate. Certainly hope so. And Spencer says for Dustin Wolf, same as always, should be the same as last year. Jojo says not regress and not lose confidence to get bigger and stronger for Parekh. For Wolf to feel good about his game, not too focused on wins and losses, just to feel good. Like that too. For Honzek, don't get traded or waived. Wow. And then 4 for Basha, will he make the Flames? That's the question. It's not really an expectation. I guess it's more of just posing an additional question, but I like that one as well. A few last thoughts here. So one user says, Wolf, 52 games, 912 save percentage. So kind of similar to last year in a way. Parekh, 78 games, 50 points. That would be an outstanding season. Dave says, for Parekh, a slow start, but a killer last 20 games. For Wolf, slight regression in save percentage and goals against average, but better goals versus expected. So obviously playing on a worse team this year, you would assume. For Honzek, solidifies himself as a middle 6 winger, present and future. Not center, winger, but hopefully that's the case. And then for 4, same as Parekh, a slow start, but killer last 20 games. Does that mean with the Flames? Very interesting. And then last one, Todd says Zane Parekh, 67 points. So 1 more than Lane Hudson last year. That would be excellent. Wolf, 30 wins on the year. Honzek, 15 goals, 40 points. I'd be down for that. And then Basha, an AHL All-Star again. A lot of people high on Basha, and I absolutely love to see that. But let me know, what are your expectations for those guys or any of our prospects going forward? The last couple things we'll get into before the comment of the day is, man, I'm struggling with the buttons right now, but another tweet from actually Blasty Prospects. So they said training camp for the Q's Shawinigan Cataracts began a few days ago, and as expected, Matt Vagradine is not taking part, which pretty much confirms his move to the AHL next season, or this season, I should say, which is phenomenal to hear. It's another step in his development, which is great for our second of the 2 2024 first round picks. Excellent to hear that. I hope he just absolutely goes crazy with the Wranglers, and could we see him at the NHL level? Last thing, Ryan Pike tweeted out that the Calgary Flames begin their preseason in 1 month. And this was actually, I think, tweeted yesterday, so less than a month. And obviously we have the rookie showcase, we got training camp, but could we see a lot of these prospects in the preseason? I certainly hope so. And it's exciting times. Hockey is finally back right around the corner. We're in that home stretch of the dog days of the summer. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from the most recent video, of course, and this one comes from Jonathan. Jonathan proposes a wild trade that I want to get your thoughts on. So he says 3-way trade. To Calgary, they get Mason McTavish. There you go. Dallas gets Rasmus Andersson and Blake Coleman at 50% retained. Could that put them over the top finally? Who knows? And a 2027 third, I'm assuming, from Calgary. And then to Anaheim, Jason Robertson. Wow, this is like a nuts trade. I don't even know what to say about it. I don't know the winners. I don't know the losers. It's just nuts. But again, feel free to let me know. I just thought this was a really cool one to share with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.